This is the Boat Feed. Welcome to the Leg 7 wrap. Auckland to Itajai. I'm Alan Block. This is Matt Knighton. As always, we're here in the beautiful Chicago Yacht Club Belmont Station overlooking Lake Michigan. And what a gorgeous, chilly day it is, Matt.
Finally, the snow's gone.
Well, it was gone yesterday.
No, it came back tonight.
I was all set to shave my beard off last week in Charleston, and then my friend calls and says it's 6 inches on the ground, so I just let it grow some more.
You look like Santa Claus.
Santa Claus. Oh, thank you, sir.
What do we got?
Ho, ho. Well, look, before we get into the leg and all the action, and it was an exciting leg, let's thank our sponsors and remind you that Musto and INMARSAT have been with us from the very beginning. These beautiful, effortless, button-down, stretchy shirts are one of my favorites. I've been espousing them all month. I think we're going to have some new stuff in Newport as well.
Oh, that'd be nice.
We'll talk about that. Huge thank you to Musto. Their gear outfitting 4 of these boats, and they needed it down in that Southern Ocean. So big thanks to Musto. And wait till the very end of this broadcast if you would like to have a chance to win a ride racing on a Volvo 65 courtesy of Musto. I'll say no more.
We'll tell you how, but also thank you to INMARSAT, the official satellite communications provider for the Volvo Ocean Race. They're the ones that bring you all the content we're going to be talking about. I should click play on this anyways, huh? There she goes. And they are also responsible for all the safety communications from the boats to the teams, which is super important. So thanks to INMARSAT.
No other way to get us video from deep in the Southern Ocean. That's for sure. So also a huge welcome to our brand new sponsor, a really good guy supporting the racing community forever here in Chicago, Steve Kendra, and the Skyway Yacht Yard right underneath the Skyway, right on the river. It's a great spot. I just went through there a couple weeks ago and had a tour, and it's amazing. You got carbon fiber work being done. You've got a complete refit, cut, and put back together of an Andrew 68.
Steve's got a legend. It's good
J111. I mean, you got everything you can want. Club racer, weekend warrior, or prepping for a world championship or national championship. Skyway is the place to go for a great solution at a fair price. And Steve also wanted me to let you know that he's sponsoring the Colors Regatta here in Chicago.
Good race.
And Skyway is paying for all the perf entry fees. So it's crazy, but awesome. Good job. Go see him. 10% off your first repair or storage if you're a new customer by using the word Boatfeed.
That's awesome.
There you go. You got it. I heard you got a new boat, Matt.
I did.
I need to get some work done.
Yeah, we'll see. It's got a lot of work, but it'll be fun. Okay, so what do we got? We're diving into the leg.
I think this leg was it's a complicated long leg. Before we get into the leg and the content and all the amazing stuff we got to see something truly terrible and tragic, Matt.
Yeah, no, I think from the Boat Feed, from both Alan and I, our deepest sympathies go out to John Fisher's family, his crewmates, his friends, everybody in the Volvo Ocean Race. Just an absolute tragedy what happened. It's the worst case scenario. Those are the words I used when I first heard about it. And it hit all of us just extremely, extremely hard. I know my wife and I, we were pretty broken for a couple of days, just following the news along and instantly putting ourselves in that situation, having done the race before. So,
and she probably had that feeling a dozen times.
Yep, it's the worst case scenario, and our hearts go out.
Well, I mean, I don't, as someone who's never done the Volvo, it doesn't hit me the same way. But as someone who's lost good friends on this lake right here, not too far from where we're sitting, it hits us all. And it's sort of a reminder that you just can never sleep on it. You can never sleep on safety. I'm not saying they did sleep on safety. I'm saying you can't. And even if you do everything perfectly well, there's still a chance it can all go wrong, And I don't care if you're racing Formula One or bike racing or people die in the Tour de France, It's something you have to think of. If you're going to the very high level where you're pushing your body and machines as hard as you can, they're going to bite sooner or later, and it's just a shame that Fish got it. And again, we're so sorry for everyone who's ever known him and loved him.
Yep. So our thoughts are with everybody involved in the race right now, and the Volvo will convene and they will make the race stronger and safer as a result. So they're good at that.
A lot of our fans have asked, what do you think? And I've said, look, I have to tell you the truth. The incident happened. Everything's buttoned up. It doesn't pay for me to think, and I'm not paid to think. Let's wait until the experts, and there are experts, very, very qualified experts on this, investigating it and coming up with a report before too long, I'm sure. Let's see what they have to say before we even bother.
Yeah, agreed. So looking at that though, there was a shift in tone amongst the OBRs after that. We're here talking about the media coming out of the race. Before that was a different tone to after it. Certainly there were still a lot of just exhilarating incidents that happened after loss of John that were kind of, set the race into one of its, most challenging, probably 72 hours it's ever seen. And we're going to take a look at how the OBRs covered that. I thought they did a great job. That's the spoiler alert. But overall, just a really long leg, the worst leg as far as conditions, sea state, that the race has seen in recent memory, probably that all the sailors that are doing the race right now have ever seen.
There's a couple that may have been back in the pre-ice skate days that saw colder. And
Neil McDonald, I'm looking at you.
Yeah. Maybe Wendy. There's definitely a couple, but for the most part, most anyone that's under 40 hasn't seen it this bad. Plus, they haven't had a leg like this in that long. Since 05, right?
So we're gonna look at all the content coming off the boats as a result of that.
Yeah, and I think you definitely had that tone change, which I'm sure is a bit of a challenge, but it's hard to really know how much of that tone change is due to the tragedy and the general pall that descends over the fleet, and how much is due to the fact that it's like a 3-week long leg, and that was halfway through that was Cape Horn, that was like or just before Cape Horn, that was like the natural release point, and afterwards it's kind of all a bit of, you know what I mean?
We said before, this is like the granddaddy of all legs of the race. This one was like even more so because of everything that transpired. But you hear the same thing from everyone as they're coming off this leg, and that is it was an emotional, mental race, and this was an emotional and mental leg more than any other. So that's, when you're in those types of conditions, you're not sleeping practically at all, and to push through that for weeks and weeks on end, just look at the expressions on their faces when they arrive in Brazil. It's not a fun leg, but you love it because of the achievement of what it is.
I would imagine after a leg like that, like there have to be a certain number of people that are thinking like, I don't know if I want to keep doing this.
Yeah. Everybody has that thought during the race at some point. I guarantee you. Look at Chris Nicholson, case in point, he's not ashamed to talk about his dislike for conditions like this. And he's very honest about it. So, but amazing stuff coming through it. Drones. We saw like the triumph of the drones. Like we were talking about, Sam Greenfield led on that the Holy Grail was going to be flying boats and like heavy sea
25,
conditions.
30 knots and
gauntlet was thrown down and raised. And I think like I've been saying, the bar was already set with anything that's kind of onboard footage, and the only natural progression for experimentation, I think, like true experimentation with media was in the drone space, something that's never been tried before in previous races. Oh, hey, wife. Hang on, cut. All right.
It's also something that geeks like you and me and every single person that's on these boats, including the sailors, loves to geek out on drones. Everyone loves flying them. Everyone loves playing with them.
Yeah, all the sailors are buying them now too. Kyle Langford looking at you. But so we're going to get into that.
The other thing that really stood out on this leg, is we always expected it to, is injuries and breakages. It was, every boat had multiple injuries. Every boat had multiple breakages. Some, debilitating that really affected the leg. Only two boats didn't, three boats didn't finish, or? Two teams. Two didn't finish, and
Matt Frey limped in.
Yeah, Matt Frey limped in, and Scallywag, who retired, is I think, honestly, I actually think
they're arriving like right now.
They're arriving. Yeah. So welcome to Scallywag. We know you guys have had a rough one. I hope you get at least one night to go and drink it all away.
Yep. So raw content.
Let's go.
Awesome.
I think we just talked about drones, and they're the prettiest and the least sad. So let's have a look at some drone footage.
All right, check it out.
90 seconds. You got a timer, or we
Oh,
get that
yeah.
up?
No, we're doing it. We're doing it. Hang on.
You're not prepared.
Just start talking. I'm giving you seconds.
There's one reason I picked this drone video above the other 7 drone videos that were amazing. Blue. My dog's name is Blue. My daughter's favorite color is blue, and I love blue. When I edit my,
You're still going with that. This
when
is the
I
second
edit my
take
wife's
you
photo,
go with- okay.
it's about what personally appeals to us. With all these drone videos,
No, that's good.
this is so pretty. It's like that Pirates video that was the standard in coming out of Melbourne or wherever it was years and years ago.
Yep.
It's like that, but better. The waves are better.
It's a new standard. I thought actually you pulled this one, but this one also stood out to me by Blakey. And then we've also got the other ones. I mean, there was that gorgeous shot by Conrad. Like,
I mean, are we pulling those up?
Wide and then zooming in close. Let's see if we can get it here.
Yeah, well, Conrad, I don't think Conrad's was, I was like sitting there with Conrad's going, oh, whatever, until he does the crossover. and he, right with the sun popping out. Are you kidding me?
Here we go.
Ridiculous.
Yeah,
the first 10, 15 seconds is not, to me, is not that special, but he was all just setting us up. He was rope-a-doping us.
There we go. Yep. This one right here. This look at this cross. I mean, this is like so technical. It's so hairy, and the sunburst.
He's only a meter away.
That's so cool. And how is he even looking at the drone? Like, I didn't see him there. And then there was this one from Ugo. I mean, this is just cool because who's ever seen? That's Cape Horn right there. And then this is like a Volvo boat limping in to get repaired.
Oh
like,
my God.
You would never have that perspective before. And then you've got this guy. I mean, Blakey throws it down again. I guess, man, master of the drone this leg.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can see this because of how dark it is, but here comes the lightning.
And just look at,
And there was a really awesome photo that came out of this too. So.
Yeah, I saw that photo and I wanted to put it up my wall.
I mean, that's like pushing the limits of a drone because of, the light sensitivity, the exposure, little sensor. Yeah, it was cool. So anyways, cool stuff. What else do we got next? We've got
aerials are gold. The next one is one that jumped out at me.
Yep.
And it popped up in my feed yet today.
Really?
I think it took them a while to edit it up, but this was a compendium of a bunch of different wave videos that they got from offshore.
Yep.
And they put it together in a way and with music that just, it's one of those things you can just sit and watch and turn off everything else and just veg.
Let's check it out.
Yeah, I mean, what can I say? There's certain, like, what human isn't infatuated by this?
I'm glad to see that Volvo stepped back for a video from the hype and the excitement and the music and just did something that lets the pure beauty and power of the Southern Ocean sink in like they did with this piece. This is really how it is and how you see it when you're down there.
And this really was my favorite video of this leg. And like I said, I didn't see it until this morning.
Yep.
And I must have watched it 6 times on the train over here.
Yep.
And I want to go home and put it on my big 4K and just watch it there.
You know what's cool about it is that they must have had a lot of footage that the OBR shot in slow motion, which you shoot by shooting at a high frame rate and then slowing it down over a video sequence. But you have to adjust your camera settings to do that. And a lot of the OBRs probably did it during this leg because when you're shaking so much, when you slow it down, you're able to get more stable picture, which is kind of a regatta like video trick that a lot of guys know nowadays.
Insider's tip.
But it's overused, to be honest. But here, these guys did a great job of it.
Another great thing it's for. Little girls' hair when they're running down a hill.
You said that on the first episode.
Have I?
Yeah, we came full circle. All right, next.
Just look at that wave. Look at that wave. Look at that wave. Oh, I could watch this all day.
It's like mountains. Okay, next one of my picks. So this is Nick Dana. This is like a couple days into the leg, and talking about why he's the original bailer of the Volvo Ocean Race. Check it out.
I am one of the original bailers. I started it in the 11-12 race. Felt that there needed to be a designated bailer on board. And I said, I'll just carry a camera as well in case there's anything cool going on. But primarily I'm there to bail. There are 3 principles to bailing on a Volvo 65. 1, never chase the water. Always anticipate where the water's going to be there before it. That way, the water works for you. And you wait for Tony to stack it. Gets the wave in front of him, comes rifling back, right into my bailer, like so. Nailed it. Rule number 2. Embrace the hate. You may hate all the water that's in the bilge, but if you embrace it, you'll collect it faster and get it out of the bilge. Rule number 3 about bailing in these damn boats. Employ a bilge hose. Way easier. Listen to the sound. Beautiful sound. Now stop. That's it, that's all. Get random bits of debris, broken mainsail batten. Those are bailing impediments. It can make it very frustrating. Oh shit, under the water. I take advantages.
You look at me, and that's the only one that comes down your way.
Right here, we have in its habitat a non-bailer.
Non-bailer?
Non-bailer, just dripping.
It's like Scallywag. You're a believer or a non-believer?
Now,
You're a bailer or you're a non-bailer? Now where the hell is my glove?
All right, the man. So Nick had my job in Abu Dhabi the year before I did. He was the OBR. You're OBR. You're the official bailer, dedicated bailer. None of the Abu Dhabi guys better make a joke about me about this. But I love it because, to be honest, like a lot of guys this leg kind of did the talking head thing, which is in these conditions is kind of all you can do.
Yeah.
Jeremy stepped outside the box and did
got
this.
funny.
It was funny and it was scripted, but Nick's got the persona and the presence on the camera to pull it off.
The funny thing is Nick does not often let his humor show on the camera.
Yeah.
When you're around him, there are he could be
yeah.
doing stand-up
Yeah.
any day of the
Yeah,
week.
no,
But
it's
he
really
never
good.
he wants to be
And
the pro.
they use it good right
Yeah,
here.
it's
This is,
beautiful.
I mean, and you know what he's talking about with bailing is totally true. You got to wait, let the water come to you, right?
And by the way, Nick looks like he's lost about 20 pounds of muscle. I guess that happens on those
I
legs.
don't know,
huh?
ladies. Probably looks all right, but no, Jeremy, original, funny. You need this stuff to break up the racing, and it's a creative way to show what's actually going on the boat. And not only that, technically, like this is all low light while they're thrashing through waves, and the whole piece was really what edited it into a boat feed that they sent off the boat. You know, like it was edited on board like this. So this is how we wanted it to be seen, which is pretty cool.
It's nice too for us. It's a reminder that there's lots of really fun light times as well as tough, scary times. All right, next video. Like you all know how much of a freak I am for repair videos. We've talked that already, and as a guy who always usually fixes things on board, I love them. But then there's repair videos that are historic that blow your head off that no one's ever seen before, like Mop Phrase after the head came off the sail, and they're basically stuck at Cape Horn, right? We saw the video of them sailing toward Cape Horn and nowhere to go. And what do you do? What do you do? Well, they're not the first person to be stuck there. Okay. You little Frenchman was stuck there in 1998 with a Vendée Globe mast. And the Vendée Globe, you're not allowed to touch the shore, touch above the high tide line. If you don't know the story, the guy basically built a new mast, or built his mast, fixed the mast, put it back together using a hairdryer, a bunch of glue, and then he went and finished the race and had a new mast. Amazing story. They were in the same spot. Okay? So here, this story that I grew up on that was like the legend of offshore sailing, of French offshore sailing, the amazing seamen, all that. Well, guess what? These guys are doing it with drone video and time-lapse photography of their pair.
Yeah, and satellites.
The spot where they are.
Yeah.
The scenery. I mean, are you kidding me? And then Nettie covered in glue from head to...
Okay, all right. Watch the video.
¡Sube un poquito! ¡Para!
Vale. Spring y ya se verá.
Efectivamente tenemos muy poco tiempo, pero por suerte tenemos una gran infraestructura, hemos conseguido un gran barco para estar aquí. Pensábamos que no ibais a parar, al final habéis parado, pero tenemos todo muy bien preparado y yo creo que va a ser muy efectivo nuestro tiempo. Tenemos 3 frentes abiertos, uno es el palo, otro es la mayor y otro es la botavara. Esto es prácticamente un detalle, lo gordo es la vela mayor. Yo creo que 12 horas están para mucho. Bueno, la noche simplemente la tendremos que ignorar, digamos, tendremos que trabajar con luces y, digamos, seguir trabajando. Y...
In one sense, we've been lucky just break it close by and be able to get on shore quite quick and prepare it now here with the sorting.
So we have Nerio, the boat builder, now up the rig, preparing the mast to do the track we have ready downstairs. This is one of the biggest jobs, but I'm more concerned about the mainsail because we broke the mainsail from left to leech all the way, so it's in 2 pieces. So it's quite tricky repair to be done with material stuff, the material we have here and on the place we have to do it. Also, temperature is not helping a lot because it's quite cold, so for the glue to cure is very hard. But we're gonna do all what we can, all what is in our hands to do it, and try to finish the leg. It's gonna be hard.
La verdad es que va bastante bien, es como siempre un poco más lento de lo que nos gustaría, pero bueno, el mástil lo hemos pegado ya, el carro, y estamos terminando con la mayor. Por lo cual, bueno, esperamos salir en 1 hora y media de aquí hacia el punto de suspensión, lo cual nos daría para llegar en exactamente las 12 horas que hemos calculado perder. Y bueno, luego no es tan sencillo porque bueno, pues la reparación de la mayor tiene que secar mejor y bueno, pues empezaremos a navegar rumbo a Brasil, no a tope de prestaciones, pero bueno, pues avanzando lo máximo posible y perdiendo el menor tiempo posible.
So yeah, I mean, obviously I talked about it a lot before because I was such a big fan. But what a sick video, man!
It's so cool, and I'm a dork for when an OBR like has a challenging circumstance and rises to the occasion to tell the story. And Ugo, like, this was so. When I knew they were doing the repair, I was excited to see this because no one sees the Drake Passage. I mean, no one sees this is like an island right behind Cape Horn. That's so cool, and yeah, it was well shot. That's the coolest shot with a drone.
I want to know the story of this cruising boat.
So here's the deal, and I don't know if this is actually what happened, but with Abu Dhabi on this leg, we had a plan, a contingency that if something were to happen similar to them, we had shore team on standby in Chile to perform a repair like this. So the prudent thing for a well-funded team to do is to do that. I'm going to guess that the Map Frey shore team was already on standby when they heard the mast track issue.
Yeah.
They're already getting the cruising yacht,
which they had already probably optioned to be available.
And they have as much of their shore gear with them as possible, and then they're ready to make the repair happen this quickly. So, and that's just the coolest. Like, take a picture of Nettie looking like that for the rest of the race.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I mean, that should be the cover photo of every sailing magazine for the next 6 months.
No, it was really cool. So anyways, loved it. What do we got next?
Okay, so now we get into things that are a little more scary, and I feel like we've kind of wanted to keep this a little bit light because we had so much dark to talk about. But for me, there's one video in this whole thing that really feels dangerous, and part of it's the sound and part of it's what's going on. So let's have a look at Brunel. Here's the thing, like anyone who's been on a big boat offshore, like you've been here, you've crawled through this wet, scary, forbidding place, and the noise, the shrieking,
and the shaking of the camera,
the shaking of everything, but the noise is always there and it never leaves, and for weeks at a time it never leaves. And it's like, this for me felt like when something's about to go wrong and you're stuck in a bad place,
and Jan is getting like banged around back here because it's like it's all sharp-ish edges. It's not meant to be leaned on, and you know, you're getting thrashed around while a boat's doing 25 knots, and it's a tough one.
And then you've got so for me, like, that was really impactful. And then the rest of the video obviously is talking about injuries. And so that whole thing kind of brought it together for me and reminded me how dangerous this all is. And this was actually right before fish went over the side. So a couple days. So yeah, I thought it was really powerful.
No, I thought, and Jan did an awesome job this leg. This is from Jan Rue on board Brunel. We should also mention the awesome drone video that he sent, how to land a drone in the Southern Ocean, which
it was amazing.
Probably like one of the most viral videos the Volvo's ever put out.
So cool.
So nice job, Jan.
And by the way, they won their first leg.
Pretty cool.
Nice job from Bawa and the team. And then this is my last one. And I don't know about you, Matt, but as a media guy who's covered tragedies before, I'm super curious as how people do it. Right? It's a big challenge, and if you leave aside the emotion, there's an academic question here: is what do you do? And who's gonna, like, you know, that these teams were like, look at us, we were choked up twice already this episode. Okay, just talking about it. Those guys are there. You know, they're crying. You know, they're talking a lot about it. You know, they're talking about their families. You know, they're probably taking sat phone calls, like all these things. Where do we see it? And I looked through and I really couldn't find I could only find one video where we really saw any emotion about it. You know, there was nice, you know, hopes and prayers or whatever it is, you know, thoughts and prayers, well wishes from everybody, but there was only one that really caught some emotion, and let's have a look.
Yeah, Voor de derde keer Kaap Hoorn rond. Super trots natuurlijk. Maar onze gedachten gaan wel uit naar John Fisher, die overboord is geslagen in de Zuidelijke Oceaan. En vooral naar zijn familie toe. En ja, het is een trots moment voor onze ploeg, voor Dongfeng. Maar onze gedachten gaan wel uit naar het Scallywag team met hun grote verlies.
So it's Carolyn, and she's speaking Dutch, so I don't know what she's saying, but I know she's crying, and I know she's really, really sad, and like that's the only and credit to her, and credit to the OBR for getting the shot.
Martin
Kurzere, but like I expected to see a lot more of it.
I was looking for a lot of it, honestly, after the incident, seeing if it was covered, if it wasn't. I guess first and foremost, if you didn't cover it, like, it's understandable, you know, why, but I really appreciate that Martin got this interview. And, you know, one of the things that Brian Nevins, who is a Red Bull photographer, he was one of the judges in the last race for the OBR prize. When I had an opportunity to chat with him, one of the things that stood out to him from the content that was done last race was when you had a tragedy or some sort of significant event, which of the OBRs rose to the occasion to actually cover the emotions and get the camera in those uncomfortable positions, not because you want to, but because you have to, and capture the raw emotion of it. And this was a really good example of that, I thought. It doesn't mean that you can't be sensitive, but these are extraordinary circumstances. How do you approach it as an artist, and what are you able to grab?
Yeah, and it's not an indictment at all. Like at the end of the day,
Right.
there are guys who, in the media, who cover wars,
right?
Because that's what they're good at. Because
Right.
they can capture that. There are guys that cover tragedies and car crashes because they're good at capturing people that are emotional, and they make people feel comfortable. And there are guys that are technically brilliant and shoot, you know, mountain climbing and things with, you know what I mean? Like everyone's got their role.
Totally.
But kudos to these guys, and I definitely, like, again, I feel like the public wanted to know how these crews were feeling, and they didn't get to really see it for the most part.
Yep. Martin did a great job. Nice job in the video.
You're so positive.
I try.
So positive. That's a great skill there, Matt.
All right. What do we got?
That's it for this one. Next up, short leg, quick leg.
Yeah, we're going to America. We're coming here. It's
down the road, right?
See how they go through the Sargasso Sea. You know, that's going to be a ton of weeds. Last time we were broaching like every 10 to 15 minutes, trying to clear the rudders and the keel and see how they
You
deal
just broach
with
it so you can reach over and just knock them off?
Not kidding. It happened all the time. And you started like locking yourself in your bunk just because you knew it was going to happen while you're sleeping. Awesome welcomes into Newport. The town loves the race there. Brad Reed and all those guys getting ready for it.
Voted best stopover of the last race by everyone.
And I wouldn't be surprised if it is this time too. Super stoked for it.
And there's a pretty good chance the Boatfeed will be in Newport on the docks.
Fingers crossed. Be
doing
awesome.
our thing. Maybe we'll even do a dock walk. Wouldn't that be fun?
Be sweet. Let's do it. Let's rock Newport.
All right. Well, let's talk about the big news, which is one of Boatfeed fans is going to win a ride on a Volvo 65. Woo. Okay.
And what else? M32s, right?
Hold on. You're jumping the gun again. You're
dang
like,
it.
All right. Let's tell you the story. And I think we have maybe a dozen ride on M32 catamarans. Okay. They're going to be racing for 3 or 4 days in Newport. You get a ride. Let me tell you how you do it. Okay. It's real simple. And a big
how do you
thanks
do
to,
it, Alan?
Yeah, very good. Big thanks to Brandon Flack and the folks at Musto for setting this up. But what you need to do is watch the Boatfeed's Facebook page and the Musto Facebook page, okay? Because Musto is putting together a landing page that has all the information that you need to have. Basically, you're just going to sign up for the Musto newsletter or whatever it is, whatever the newsletter is, and they're just using it for Musto stuff. They're not selling your information to Facebook or anyone bad like that. Just joking, Zuckerberg. Don't shut us down. All you got to do is sign up for that, and then you're entered into a ride you're entered to win a ride on an M32 catamaran and a Volvo Ocean Race 65 during the Pro-Am race at the Newport stopover.
Sweet.
Hoo-ah!
That's cool. All right, so go on. Don't forget to sign up to that newsletter and keep watching the Facebooks for notifications on that. Also keep in touch with the Facebook page for any sort of updates during the legs. We're going to be throwing up favorite picks, anything else that's breaking in the OBR world.
We also will be doing some pre-interviews and stuff when we hit the ground in Newport, assuming it all works out. Which
Fingers
I think
crossed.
it will. I think
we'll
it will.
Be there.
And please leave a like and a comment below and share it and send it around to your friends. And thank you once again for joining us on the Boatfeed.
Thanks again to Musto, INMARSAT, and Skyway Yacht Works for making this all possible. And we're going to leave you right now with a little tribute video that a friend of the Boatfeed, Keith Brash, put together, remembering John Fisher.
Great work, Brashy.